3 travel-related cases of Zika reported in Canada. There have been no reports of locally acquired cases, and it's very unlikely there actually ever will be, since the mosquito that hosts the virus does not live this far north. Also, the vast majority of those who are exposed to the virus don't get sick. Only 1 of 5 people infected with the virus actually develop symptoms, and those symptoms are usually quite mild, including fever, rash, joint pain, and red eyes. Those symptoms usually last for just a couple of days. With me now is Dr. Gio Miletto. He is the medical director at the Travel Medicine and Vaccination Centre. What do you think of this decision by Canadian Blood Services to, at some point, stop accepting blood from people who have been to these countries?
I think it's a smart move, to be honest. We know that Zika can be transmitted through blood, and there is a concern that it can be transmitted through blood transfusions. So it makes sense to be precautious over this. We wouldn't want to give it to somebody quite accidentally who'd never traveled, never exposed themselves. So I think it's a good idea.
Is it high, or how high, I should say, is the risk of blood-to-blood transmission of this virus?
The risk is low. But if it's not necessary to take it, and imagine giving an infected blood transfusion to somebody who's pregnant, it's not worth the risk. So the risk, absolute risk, is very low.
What about things we've heard there have been some cases, very small number of cases involving the sexual transmission of this virus? What do we know about that?
Right. So the thinking is that it's blood to blood. So it's a little bit like hepatitis B can be transmitted through sexual activity, and that's a blood to blood transmission as well. So potentially any mixing of blood could transmit the virus.
But this sounds like it happens, well, I think only 1 case is what they've said, so very, very rare.
Yeah, it's a rare problem, and the main concern of catching this, it would be directly from the mosquito.
And how long does this stick around in your blood if you happen to get it? What is the infection time that doctors would be concerned about?
Right, so I mean, the incubation period is several days, up to around a week. Before you get symptoms, so you'll have the virus in your body at that time. The disease itself can last about a week, maybe 10 days. And then after that, you'll start to develop immunity, so you'll produce antibodies against the virus. And that can take, several days to several weeks to really become immune to it. So it's a precaution. You're talking about a several-week period.
And what happens if you get it? Can you get it again, or is it like chickenpox once and you're pretty much clear?
It looks like you're immune once you've been exposed to the virus, but there is concern that there might be multiple subtypes to which you could potentially become infected. So, but at the moment it looks like 1 exposure is enough to get immunity.
Given then that it doesn't stick around your blood for long, how hard will it be to come up with a vaccine for this, and how hard do you think they're even really trying to come up with a vaccine?
Well, we can isolate the virus, so it is possible to work on the virus in people that aren't actually infected with it. The trouble is producing a good, effective, safe vaccine is not a quick fix. So it can take months and years to really safely develop an effective vaccine, and right now that's not on the horizon.
We understand that this mosquito carries a bunch of different kinds of things, including dengue fever, and I think I heard somewhere that they might be able to morph that vaccine to kind of deal with this. Yeah,
so the dengue virus is the same family of virus as the Zika, so it's very closely related. In fact, so much so that the antibodies are very similar that you produce against the virus. But whether you can tweak the vaccine that's being developed for dengue, again, it's in the research stages, but there is some hope there.
Dr. Gio Miletto, thank you very much.
Thank you.